Hi. So I've actually learned a lot during this class, and when I first started the class, I was nervous and not so excited to do some of the videos, which now it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, and I'm actually really glad because I think it really helped build confidence levels and just feeling more comfortable being in front of a camera and having people critique you and just practicing all those skills. I know they say practice always makes perfect, but it's hard to do it sometimes. So it's nice to have a class that forces you to do it. And I appreciate everyone's feedback on the videos. It is really helpful to see things that you're doing well because sometimes you don't realize that you're doing something well until someone points it out. So things that I've learned from some of the exercises we did, big thing, so with the reflective exercise, I know that was a really early exercise that we did with the facial expressions, but I thought it was really one of the more important ones to kind of see that just because someone looks, you're reading their expression as something doesn't mean that that's actually what they're feeling. And so it can be really important to ask what they're feeling and pick up on more cues than just what their face is saying. And to remember that you might have it in your head that it means one thing, but you're not always right. So I think it's important to check in on those things. And I think most people who are going into this field of work feel that they already pick up on those cues really well. So sometimes it's nice to realize that, yes, you might do those things pretty well, but you're not always going to get it right. So I thought it was really important. Another thing that I learned with the reflective exercises is with the genogram. And having to do that for your own family made me realize the importance of asking a client because there were things that I didn't even realize, traits about some of my family members I didn't realize that I was trying not to be like. So I think it's really important to ask the clients not only to give the traits of their family members, but also if they feel like they relate to them or if they don't relate to them, how they feel about that. I think it gives a lot of insight into their life, and it really stresses the importance of asking clients about those things and asking about their family and how they feel about their family members. So I thought that was really interesting because I wasn't expecting to get as much out of that as I did. Another thing with the early reflections, doing our own early reflections and submitting those, that to me was just really interesting. I love the video that we had to watch with the early recollections and just going through them and deciphering them. I think that's something that I saw a lot of importance in and would hope to use in the future. I just thought it was really, really, really interesting. I wasn't expecting to get as much out of an early recollection as the video showed, and trying to interpret them on ourselves was also really interesting because you realize how many different ways and how many different feelings you can get out of it, and you have to ask questions to get to the right feeling. It's not just black and white basically. So I thought it was really interesting, and that's something that I would hope to use in the future. Okay, as far as strengths for myself, I would say that I think I have a natural, like, in the moment kind of feeling when I'm interviewing people. A lot of times when we're doing the videos, I did have, specific things that I wanted to ask, and we were asked to do that in quite a few of the videos, but I do think that I do well with listening to people and responding to them and not just saying, okay, and repeating back or paraphrasing and then just asking my next question. I do feel that in fact, sometimes I think I can get too caught up in the moment and getting stuck on one thing instead of focusing on what I really need to do. So maybe area for growth as well as a strength. But I do feel a lot of people have commented on my videos saying that I seem comfortable, which was interesting because I didn't ever really feel that comfortable. But I think maybe that comes from me being just so in the moment with the client. I think that just comes from, I do like to listen and talk to people, so I think that's where that comes from. I also think that I do pretty well with open-ended questions. It took me a little while to get to that point throughout life. I feel like I've been taught how to ask open-ended questions and what kind of closed-ended questions to stay away from. So I think I've gotten just better in general at asking open-ended questions and realizing how limiting a closed-ended question can be. So the one thing with that, while I think I do ask a lot of open-ended questions, I would like to build my vocabulary so I'm not asking the same open-ended question all the time, or not just saying the same statement, like, oh, tell me more, or something like that. It'd be nice to kind of build that vocabulary so I can ask more open-ended questions so people aren't getting the same thing over and over again. Let's see. I think that I also have decent attending behaviors. I feel like I make good eye contact and, respond well to a client. I know personally sometimes I feel a little uncomfortable with too much eye contact. So that's something for me to think about, and maybe think about less, actually, because the more I think about it, the weirder I feel when I'm making eye contact with someone. So something for me to pay attention to, I guess. So more areas for growth. Like I said, I would like to build my vocabulary. I think that'll be just a natural process in life and in education, but it will definitely, I think, help build with the confidence level and feeling comfortable with clients. I also think I need to become clearer or be more concise, maybe be more intentional with what I say. I don't know how to say, here I am right now. I do struggle sometimes to get out what I'm thinking in my head, or say it the way I want to say it. I don't ever want to come across as, I don't want to be misunderstood. So sometimes I stumble over things because I'm just trying to get it exactly perfect. And I don't know what's better, to just become clearer and get it perfect the first time, or instead of stumbling over my words, just try to say it, and if it comes out wrong, fix it. So that's something that I just have to work on. I also think as life has gone on, I've been that way my entire life, but have gotten better. So something to think about, I guess, for myself. I also think I need to work on maybe sometimes I like a non-directive approach. I really do like that, but I think there are going to be times where it does need to be more directive, and I can struggle with that sometimes. I'm not sure if in the videos it ever really came out, mostly because I think they were, this was for a class, but I know I do struggle sometimes with not wanting to be too directive because you don't want to say the wrong thing, or be directive in a way and it doesn't work out with the client. I think I do have a fear of, like, I don't want a client to ever not like me, but there are going to be clients, obviously, that just don't like me. So I have to get over that. As far as Adlerian techniques and interviewing skills, everything that like an Adlerian therapist stands for, to me, just makes so much sense. I mean, honestly, every skill we talk about, I'm just like, yes, that makes sense to me. I would want that as a client. I think it's really important. I see the importance, especially helping a client feel hopeful and encouraging a client and building that really good relationship. All those things to me are, number one, and I hope to always do that with the client. I think it's really beneficial. So I do also, it's interesting that we had we researched different therapy options other than just face-to-face. I've been seeing commercials for texting therapy and things like that, and I cringe at it, but we also have to kind of go with technology and do what we can for people. But I do really like the face-to-face, and I think that's more of an Adlerian approach in general. I like that like spending more time with people, really, really, really getting to know them and like digging below the surface. I really think that's beneficial. So it'll be unique and interesting to try to, go with the times and stay up to date with technology while still, not losing sight of what I think is helpful. And I think sometimes money can play a part in that too, where you make more money if you do it this way, but sometimes that's not always the best way. So overall, I learned a ton in this class about interviewing and how I do actually enjoy doing this stuff. I know sometimes in school when you're just learning, it's interesting to learn, but sitting down and talking to someone and going through a session with someone is way different than just learning about it. So I'm really grateful for this class and for everyone who gave advice. So thank you.